Hi, my name is Zai. I've played Quake for over 18 years and reviewed over 50 mice. 3 of those mice are the Logitech G303, G402, and G502. But they were some of the first mice that I reviewed, so I wanted to re-review them all in one video, because they're still popular choices. First, here's a tour of each mouse. The G303 seems either loved or hated, because it has an ambidextrous diamond shape. Personally, I love it, so while the back is somewhat unsafe, the front is safe, with a vertical slant creating kind of a ledge, to assist with picking it up. There are some subtle comfort grooves in the buttons, slightly textured plastic on top and sides, and smooth around the lights. And it has a wide back that can fill your palm if your hand is small enough, or if you claw grip. The dimensions are about 5.5cm at the fingers, the base length is about 10cm, and it's about 3.5cm high. So it's a small mouse, which I think would suit palm grip for people with hands between 14 and 18cm. Claw grip 16 to 19, and fingertip 17 to 19. But some people with even bigger hands have said they really like it, so again, it's all personal preference. This is a rough guide only. The G402 is a medium mouse that seems to have a safer ergonomic shape, with a flat surface and just enough curve to make it grip easier. And there's enough ledge on the left under the side buttons, despite there being a thumb rest curve too. The biggest complaint I've heard about this is the sniper button. Basically, they're intending for you to hold the mouse further back, or with the joint of your thumb, but a lot of people use the tip, so the button gets in the way unless they adjust to it. No comfort grooves in the buttons, slightly textured plastic on top, rubberized grips on the sides, and because the back tapers down, it's not the best for palm grip. The dimensions are about 6.5cm at the fingers, a very misleading base, so I'll just say it's about 13.5cm long, and 4cm high. For palm grip, I'd say it's okay for hands between 16 and 17.5cm. Claw grip 16 to 20, and fingertip 18 to 20. As far as dimensions go, the G502 is very similar to the G402, except it's more top heavy, and it's a bit shorter. But it does have extra features. The infinite scroll wheel is my favourite, especially for video editing and going through documents. There are comfort grooves in the buttons, however, I find I slip and press the DPI buttons sometimes. There's also a profile switch. Again, same design with the sniper button, and overall I think the G402 is more comfortable, but the G502 has the better features. The textures and materials are also very similar, except there are more textures on the G502. I'd say it's okay for hands between 16 and 17.5cm for palm, claw grip 16 to 20, and fingertip 18 to 20. For the weights, the G303 is the lightest at 88 grams. The G402 is a bit heavy at 109 grams, and the G502 is 119 without the panel on the base, and 125 with it, and you can add extra weights, making it a total of 142 grams. And all 3 mice feel fairly well balanced. Here's a look at the button slopes and hump positions. I think the G303 could have its front raised a bit, it actually feels a bit low. The G402 seems good, just a bit big for me. And same for the G502. On the top, the curves are quite moderate. And here's a size comparison with the Razer Death Adder, so you know the general size of each. And now moving on to the buttons. All the clicks feel fairly similar, and they're good in all game types. I don't have an issue with Logitech buttons, although I'm not a fan of the scroll wheel on the G402 and 303. I prefer the new ones on the G403. What I do want to mention though is it's fairly common for the left and right not to sound or feel the same. If it's really different, then hopefully you can get a replacement, but these feel good enough to me. Testing for latency against each other, neither test is accurate, but in the human tests, they all scored about the same, and in the bomb test, there was pretty much nothing in it, but I think it was more to do with the button tension than speed. So button wise, I'd say they're all good. I didn't find any issues. For the sensors, the G303 and G502 both use the 3366 optical, which is the top optical at the moment. I've tested them both, and as usual it's pretty much flawless. So I'm going to focus on the G402 for this video. So first, rocket jumping is fine. I'm moving it as fast as I can across the pad. I can't make it spin out. However, in the tilt slam test, it does get confused. It's not too common for people to have that problem, but the G303 and 502 have a sensor that can handle it. In the sniper test at 400 and 1600 DPI, they all track pixel by pixel, and as smoothly as expected. No problem there. I don't have an accurate test for acceleration, but it seemed good in this one. For liftoff distance, it's about 2 DVDs on a hard pad, and 1 DVD on a soft pad. And for the other two, it's just under 1 DVD on both. In testing 360s, they all seem about the same. In the line test, they all look good, no jitter, no angle snapping, and no skipping. Liftoff movement is well controlled, and more importantly, none had lens rattle. But of course, if you have an issue with tilting the mouse as you slam it down, then don't get the G402. You'll probably need a mouse with a 3360 or 3366 sensor, until you can correct your technique. For build quality, when tapping the 303, it sort of buzzes, and when shaking it, there is a slight rattle. Unfortunately, this was a concern on the early models, and it seems it's still a bit of a problem. So that's a shame, but not an absolute deal breaker. The G402 rattles loudly when tapping it, and there's sound while shaking it too, even with the scroll wheel held in. And the G502 has the infinite scroll wheel, and in my experience they always rattle, but otherwise it's fine. The 402 has a standard rubber cable, while the other two have thick braids, which may not fit in a mouse bungee or two. Some people don't like the cables, others do, it's personal preference, but they work well enough, and they're all over 6 feet. Here's a look at the mouse feet on each. They all glide well, they were okay in game. In the software, for the 303 and 502, you can set the DPI from 200 to 12,000, in increments of 50. You can also set profiles and custom DPI steps, and you can alter the buttons with these commands, as well as G-Shift, which when set, you can change the other buttons. This almost doubles the amount of commands you can have on the mouse. In lighting, they're RGB, so you can have color cycle or turn off the effect and choose your own. There's also surface tuning, but I leave that on default unless I find a problem. So as I said, same for the G502, it just has more buttons to use with the G-Shift, and the 402 goes from 240 to 4000 DPI in increments of 80. It also has the G-Shift function. It only comes in blue light, so not much there, other than you can turn it off, and you can test how fast you can move it here. All three are meant to have onboard memory, but I always run the software. Never had an issue, really like Logitech software, and it's great how it recognizes all the Logitech devices. In conclusion, my favourite is the G303 because I prefer smaller mice. If you have a bigger hand and you don't mind the weight, you can look at the 402 and 502. They're all very good mice in their own ways, it just depends what suits you. And also, now that the 403 is out, I rarely recommend the others. However, if you can't get the 403 or these are cheaper, then of course they're worth a look. They're great in FPS and MOBAs, and for low and high sensitivity players. You might even be able to use the G502 in MMOs, because of G-Shift. Hope that helps. Big thanks to Logitech for sending these out for review, and if you want to help support the channel, I'll leave the usual links in the description. As always, subscribe, share, like this video, and I'll catch you in the next.